I'm in here. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special guest tonight named Mimi Song. Come on up, Mimi. This is the person who lets us use this building for free for the last 6 months before the primaries. And this is the person who is an American citizen from Korea. This is the person who I spent 23 years fighting for her country. And North Korea at the door. Absolutely. Absolutely, Mimi. Thank you very much for coming. I had a friend, he was here from Germany. His name was Gerd Schneider, and he couldn't stay here. And he owns the Hesperia Airport. And he said, Bill, do me a favor. Would you deliver a message? And I said, yes. He said, what you're doing is very important. We watch you from Europe, and Europe and the European Union is torn apart. And what you're doing to take back your country couldn't be done in most countries over here in Europe right now because the communists are all suddenly Democrats. And you'll get killed if you tried to do what you're doing right now. Jensen, you wouldn't make it home at night if you were in Romania doing what you're doing right now. And yet Romania is a democratic country. He said, you're a dead man. He goes, only in this country and only this way. And then I thought about Mimi. And Mimi, she's been in places in North and South Korea. She's fought for a country. She's seen a war go on her whole life. We're still on the DMZ in Korea. We're still taking shots across the fence. We now have the Chinese behind the North Koreans. Mimi sees how Americans don't practice their freedom. She sees people starving to death. With that, ladies and gentlemen, Mimi Song, please tell us the value of freedom in America, my friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am actually extremely proud of all of you and very humbled stand before you and actually share my thoughts about America. When I see the news about the biggest tax hike in the history of America about a week ago, I was very depressed. But when I see you crowd tonight on your busy schedule coming out, truly it actually shows how much you care for your own family, your country, your state, and your city, and your neighbor, and I'm very proud of you. I am very proud of you. And I just want to tell you and say enough has been enough thus far. And I've been watching America crumble before my own eyes. I came here 30 years ago to the dreamland called America. And I became a citizen. And I love this country. I am one of those very proud yellow American that I sworn to be patriotic to this country, and I kept my vow thus far. So I want to share with you stories of recent good news and encouraging news to you. While we're losing jobs before your own eyes and people sitting on the welfare, there has been one state actually go ahead of you. That's called the Texas. I love the Texans. What they did actually, the last 5 years, they made a policy called the fiscally conservative. If you know what that means. We only spend what we have. And they're working on policy makers, elected those guys, and working on tax cut. Last year, half of job created in the United States of America was created in the state of Texas. Last 5 years, they create 1.2 million jobs while we're losing jobs. So it is so important for you to choose who's going to make your policy, determining your future, your children's future, and your nation's future. So that I am very encouraged. You are not going to stand any longer. You're not going to push them back any longer. You're going to stand up and vote and push those men and women out. Those traitors. No more traitors. No more traitors. Take back the country, you guys. While you have a freedom to talk and vote, there's many countries like Romania, they lost it. There's many countries struggle to getting it. Why you let it go when you have it? For the sake of children. For the sake of ancestors who worked so hard to build this country. This is time to stand up and say, I'm here to fight back. And I encourage you to so very, very hard this election. It's a very important election, and I'm going to give you the little report of why. The while actually we try to use affordable labor and cost in China, that they become extremely powerful financially. 1.2 billion people in China already bought Panama. They control Canada, and they control South America, and they control most of land and most of logistics. While we're fighting against our own country, worry about smelt, flies, and the rats, and what else? There's about 600 some species endangered. So I say to those gentlemen, I believe your forefather was meat eaters and hunters. All of you become vegetarian or what? They can survive. They don't need the clothing. They know how to hop around. Now, don't get me wrong, I love this country and beautiful nature. I want to protect them. I do protect them. But think about this. 92% of America is vacant land. 80% has been inhabited by endangered species called the human being. And you've been harassed. You've been harassed. Based on whatever bogus number they have. I watched them for so long. I'm so glad the grassroots movement like you stand up. While, thank you. While China is actually have a very centralized government and actually moving very aggressively, the implementing speed of the policy is just incredible. Does any of you went to China, like a Beijing, Shanghai? Can you raise a hand? You'll be shocked. Actually, you're looking at Disneyland about, like LAX, 200 times bigger than LA area. They have actually the building that you cannot see, the far, 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 far away. What they accomplished for us in 20 years is so staggering that we have no idea. The China you know is no longer China. They've changed. What I admire about China is that they're determined to succeed. Well, we've been partying around and let the people who have a wrong mind make the policy to entangle us. So this is time that we have to stand up. I actually, when we do the trade mission with the governor, especially I stopped by in South Korea, and hoping that we start some business, and we actually, governor signed the MOU, bring the Korean airline to a large business developed in the downtown LA, which was a relatively successful. But I was looking for a more aggressive approach from all of you, the American new revolution, new thinkers. We can rebuild America because of you, how you think, how you approach the matter. And we really have to stop and the legal plundering. We have to stop people who are making the tax hikes. We have to stop those people go out spending money we don't have. And this is a youth, literally I think the last chance, because China becomes so powerful and we have a last opportunity to stand up and regaining our strengths. Amen. Why that is so important? Because all the hearts of the Korean immigrant, Chinese immigrant, or any other legal immigrant in here have a love for America. We're here because you have a graced country, greatest infra, greatest mind, graced way to progress in very constructive way. Not the way that country has been led by the wrong people. Those people really want this country to remain as it has been. If anything happened in Russia, anything happened in North Korea, if anything happened in Romania, where do we running into? America. America has been the country that saved the Europe. America has been the country saved the Korean Peninsula. America has been the country steer the world peace. America has been the country who invented everything, leading everybody. So they may express some jealousy to you, but you know that's the price you pay when you become very brilliant and good at everything, okay? So don't get it wrong. Don't be so easily offended. People proud of the America who has been built for the last 200 years from nothing. That made the greatest law called the Constitution. That made the greatest mind that ever exists in the human history. The country who actually respect God and love God. It has been changed before my own eyes. It is very, very, not only heartbreaking, and it's very scary things to see what has been elapsed for the last 30 years of my immigrant life in the United States. 30 years ago, I don't have to lock a car. 30 years ago, when the car broke down, there's 5 guys coming on help. I don't have to worry about somebody being raped. You don't have to worry about actually for the security at the block of the road. You don't have to worry about actually you have locked the door. You have to share the food together. It has been changed. And you are the only one to revive your land as it has been and used to be and make it even greater. I do have hopeful for America because of you. This is a very important election in my opinion, and it may be the last chance to turn the country around and to change the thought process and have our God back in our textbook, have our God in our community. So we have something called conscience, something called the absolute truth. We cannot actually evolve the truth by the case study. There's something called the absolute truth. We over-negotiated. We've been too generous. I think it's time to getting it back. Our belief in God. Our belief in Constitution. Our belief in freedom. And our belief in courage. So getting back, you guys. Thank you for the time for you have given to me. And it's my privilege to give this kind of encouragement to you. Thank you. Go get it. Don't let it go. Go get it. Don't let it go. Thank you. And I'm very proud of Yellow American.
Thank you,
Ladies and gentlemen, Mimi's song.